Hello folks, I'm Dean with Dean's Woodworking. Y'all come on in the shop and make yourself comfortable. Today we're going to turn some gnomes. Not just any gnome, but we're going to turn a gnome that we can use as an ornament. So these guys are going to be a little small. Now I've got a piece of limb here on the lathe, and I'll rough that down real quick, put a tenon on it, put it in the chuck, and we'll be right back. So we're going to go ahead and straighten out this end. Okay, that's got that end pretty well smoothed off there. We'll use a 7/8 Forstner bit to drill up into the bottom of this. And we're going to make a mark at about the 1.5 inch mark there. And basically that's what we're going to drill in, is about 1.5 inches. Anytime you're drilling with a Forstner bit like that, it's a good idea to go slow and back it off, clear those chips. Okay, we know our hole is 1.5 inches deep, so we're going to come in about 1.75 inches. We're going to make ourselves a mark. I'm just going to kind of round our gnome over here. I'm going to take a 3/4 inch skew. We're just kind of curving him over. Now, one of the things I am going to do too is just right here at the top, not very wide. I'm just going to make a little tenon. And basically, that gives us just a little bit of space between the top and this here to be able to glue or fit the beard in so that we can fit his hat on without too much trouble. With that, we're going to come in and sand this guy just a little bit. Again, with this sort of thing, there's not that much of him that's not covered up with a beard, so you don't have to be real particular about your sanding. I still like it to look nice. I know what it looks like underneath there. So we hit it with the 120, we hit it with 220, I'm sorry, we hit it with 150, we hit it with 220, and that's 320. So once we've got that done, we're going to stop, take a look at it. Are we looking good? Is everything fine? Great. So we'll go ahead and part this one off. Again, I'm going to come in, I'm just going to angle my parting tool just a little bit. Sometimes you may want to come in and widen the path for that parting tool. Once you've got this off like that, you can come in with a sander, hit that little nub right there. That's 120 grit, and it's that quick, and the bottom is finished. Okay folks, so I turned a couple of more bottoms. I actually did 3 in all. And so we're going to turn the hats to go on these guys, okay? You'll notice this, this limb that's in here is not running true, and I'm okay with that, because what we're going to do is we're going to let these hats be a little off, and you can see it's not running true at all. We're going to go ahead and come into the end here and hollow that hat out just a little bit. Okay, so my plan is we're going to take the spindle gouge, we're going to come right in, and we're just going to hollow that hat out just a little bit. Number one, we want the hat to come down over the little gnome's head a little bit. And number two, remember these are going to be Christmas ornaments. So if I can lighten it up a little bit, so much the better. Now we're not going to go overboard with that. What we'll be looking at here is we're going to put this little gnome right up in there. So I may have gone a little bit too big with that. We're going to take off just a little bit of that outside edge. And that's the wonderful thing about this, folks, is it's a limb. It's not like you're wasting a big bunch of material here. This cost you whatever it took to go pick it up. Let's see here. Yeah, I kind of like that one right there for that. So again, we're going to undercut that hat just a little bit. And let's see how we like the way that fits. I think we're just right on it there. I'm going to come in with the parting tool, and I'm going to make just a little bit of a lip right there. And let's see how that works. I'll take that lip just a little bit further in there. And the main reason for that is I want a little bit more surface to glue on there. Ah, yeah. That's perfect. Now we've just got to shape our hat. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in, we're going to determine how tall we want our hat to be. And although this may drive some of you crazy, I don't really measure these things. I kind of look at it and go, that's about how high I want it to be. And so I'm going to make me a V-cut right there. And the reason I'm going to make a V-cut is I want to get down past all the bark. Because I don't want it coming off where I don't want it to come off. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut through the bark all the way around. Now I can shape this hat and leave the bark on where I want to leave it on. So you see what we're doing, we're just bringing this down. This is going to be kind of a pointed hat. Let's take a look at that, folks. So what we want to really look at now is we don't want this too wide. And see, we lost a little bit of our bark there. We want to make sure we've got that like we want it. What I'll do is I'll come in with a little butane lighter type deal, and I'll just burn that, darken it in, and it'll be just fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and rough some of this on out of here. Let's take one more look at that before we get too much further. Bark looks good all the way around. Cut looks pretty good there. Let's go ahead and bring it on down. Once you get that parted off, you take the sander, hit it for just a second, make you a flat spot. I've mounted my pen vise in the drill. You don't get in a big hurry with this. You take your time and go slow. Put that tiny little drill right there and just barely turn the drill on. You do not have to be going at 10,000 RPMs to do this. As a matter of fact, if you're going slow, you're probably much better off and you don't have to put a whole lot of pressure on it. Patience is the key here. And you see the drill is going into the wood. I'm not putting a ton of pressure on it. Let's go ahead and back it out a little bit. And I'm not running it wide open. We now have a place to put our little hook. Our basic little gnome is done. We've still got to make him a nose. We got to put a beard on him. And we're going to do that here in just a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of more hats and then we'll go into assembling these guys, okay? So we have 3 of these little guys. Got the bottom and the top done. I did 2 of them with the little pointed hat and then 1 of them like this. I'm going to go ahead and set up and we're going to turn the noses right now. And then we'll be ready to go in and assemble these. So we don't need much for a nose. It's a little bitty tiny thing. So let me just go ahead and we'll take what's left of this. We'll do a couple of peeling cuts here. And before you know it, we'll be right down to the size of a nose. Okay, we're going to drill a 1/8 inch hole into the little guy's face to put his nose on with, all right? So I've drilled a 1/8 inch hole in this piece of wood. And all I need is for it to go in there. It does not have to be a tight fit. And so then we're just going to shape ourselves a little nose. And remember, most of it's going to be covered up with the beard anyway. So that handy little ultra thin parting tool that I made, this is the kind of stuff that it just comes in so handy on. Just a touch of sanding on that and we are good to go. We're going to drill a 1/8 inch hole into the face of each one of the gnomes and stick that in for a little nose. I'll sand them up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and go in and we'll do the beard and glue them all together, get some finish on them, and I'll be back out and show you folks what we did to put the beards on, and then I'll show you some finished products. Folks, if you like what you see, go ahead and go down and hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up and ring that notification bell so you don't miss future videos coming out. And for those of you that are sharing my videos, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't tell you how much that helps the channel to grow. Okay folks, so we're in the studio now where I normally do the photos, but I wanted to bring you folks in here rather than out in the shop to put the gnomes together so that we have a table and a flat surface to work on. We've got a couple of them here that we've gone ahead and assembled, and we're going to do one more. Okay, so folks, normally I make a little pattern for the beard. It's going to be almost a heart shape, and then we'll slit it right down the middle here. So let's go ahead and we will mark out that pattern here. And I'm just going to use a Sharpie to just do a rough drawing here. It doesn't have to be exact, but you do need a rough idea of where you're going to be cutting. And then we'll just cut right out around that. Okay, and I advise when you're cutting that you keep the scissors real close there. Otherwise, you'll cut all this fur off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come right in here in the middle and we're going to snip down so that we can go up around the nose. So now we've got his little beard cut. We're going to take and we're going to drill a hole, a 1/8 inch hole, so we can put his nose. And you want to put his nose so that it's right up close to the hat. So if we put his little hat on here, and we're going to bring this in as the front. If we look, we need his little nose right about in where that knot is. Okay, so then we're going to basically just drill a 1/8 inch hole right on in there. Once we've got that drilled in, let's check and make sure our nose actually fits in there. And let's put the hat on and make sure that we've got it looking the way we want it to look. Okay? Now that we know we've got it where we want it, we're going to take just a little bit of hot glue, put in that hole right there. And insert the nose. So that's all it takes to attach the nose. Once we've got the nose attached, we're going to turn our little beard over and we're going to put some hot glue right here on the beard. This is not the best glue gun. It doesn't stay hot very long. So I'll show you what I do with this one. And if you've got a glue gun that doesn't get very hot or stay very hot, we're going to go ahead and pull the beard up, get it in position, and stick it down. Okay? So basically we've got our beard where we want it. It's positioned right. We can put our little hat on here we can check to make sure that we're good. Hopefully that's looking good for you folks. And then what I will do is I'll come in and I'll roll that little beard back a little bit and just put some more hot glue right there and pull it over. And I've found that that works just about as good as anything else. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And again, we're just pulling it over. And we can comb his beard and adjust that in just a little bit. And so what we're going to do on his hat is we're just going to put some hot glue right there in the recess. Now we can come right in and put that on just like we want it. Just hold it there for just a second to give it a chance to cool. And yes indeed folks, we have our 3 little gnomes complete. Okay folks, so that completes the gnomes. I'll go ahead and put the little eye hooks in. That'll make them ornaments and they can be hung on a tree or whatever. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, remember, go down and subscribe, give me a like, comment, let me know what you think. Folks, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy turning.